All Blacks, too good for Fiji, 60 points to 13. It's a pretty comfortable one for the All Blacks in the end, 9 tries to 1. I wouldn't have said the All Blacks had it all their own way, but for large periods they were able to kind of dominate this game. We will go through some of the key events from this one, some of the stats, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how this one went. To be honest, I will say crowd way better than last week. Crowd, I mean, they didn't seem to open the top levels of the stands for whatever reason, but the crowd was loud. The crowd was seemingly pretty full. And the vibe at the stand, at the ground, seemed to be really good. So it was a really very pleasant kind of watch to see that kind of thing in the stands, which was a bit of a marked difference from last week. And interestingly, early on, man, maybe it was the crowd's influence because there seemed to be a lot of Fijian supporters there. It was Fiji early, man. They came out of the blocks absolutely firing. They were putting the All Blacks under all kinds of pressure, and they eventually ended up getting the first points on the board with a penalty. They opted for the 3 points to nil to kind of get a bit of good reward for their early pressure. When the All Blacks had a chance to go down the other end, they lost their own line-out ball. Damien McKenzie kicks the ball out on the full, so I don't know, it just seemed to be a little bit off the boil for the All Blacks, and in the back of your mind there's a bit of a nagging worry as an All Blacks fan that, man, are these guys kind of up to this? Because the Fijian guys at that point really seemed to want it a lot more. But that being said, Johnny Dyer conceded a penalty at the breakdown, which is something he wasn't really doing much last week. He was able to get his hands really on the ball. And from that penalty being conceded, the All Blacks set a line-out move. The ball got to Havili, who got into a nice gap. And he stepped and offloaded to Reese, who got the first try of the game. That seemed to be kind of a settler for the All Blacks. And that was on 15 minutes? So first kind of 15 minutes, a little bit sketchy. The Fijians putting the All Blacks under heaps of pressure. But from then, I think things kind of settled down a wee bit. Fiji did go down the other end on 18 minutes and kick a second penalty of their own. And I thought that's kind of needed for the amount of pressure that they've been putting on. They should be maybe ahead because the All Blacks have had that chance and taken it. But prior to that, the All Blacks' execution hadn't been that good. So to be 1 point behind is maybe not the ideal result, but at least it's still, anybody's game at that point. But from around about the half-hour mark, the All Blacks show that it's kind of hard to beat them in threes. I know Argentina did it largely last year, so maybe that's a model to go by. But the All Blacks get a scrum after a Fijian knock-on in their own 22. I should say this is after the All Blacks have opted for 3. And that sets a mindset where the All Blacks were under the pump for the start of the game. 28 minutes, I forgot to mention, the All Blacks took a penalty. And the crowd booed because I guess they weren't satisfied with the way the All Blacks were going at that point. But from the restart, the All Blacks kick it off, the Fijians knock it on, and from that scrum, the All Blacks go blindside. Moonga kind of double pumps the ball, gets the defender to bite in just enough, and then Reese gets a double, so it's 17 points to 6. So 17-6 is a pretty good return for the way the game had kind of been going. It was pretty even-ish, but then it really starts to tilt. Fiji get a yellow card warning for too many penalties conceded, and then Reese gets his hat trick. Bouncing ball out on the left wing on 36 minutes. And the Fijians get a yellow card as well. So they kind of double down. And from then on, you're probably thinking, this game's largely over as a contest. It's going to be by how much. And sure enough, that kind of does prove to be true. Before halftime, Adi Savia shows a bit of power to go over for the final try of the first half. So it's 29-6 at halftime. I do feel a bit for the Fijian guys. They couldn't get more points when they were in the ascendancy, and the All Blacks, whilst they were making mistakes early, don't tend to make them for that long. Possessions 53-47, territory 61-39. Interestingly, the Fijians have knocked the ball on 3 times to the All Blacks 1. And their tackling percentage is 78, whereas the All Blacks are at 86. And 80, I'm always a believer that 85 and above is pretty good. 80 is getting a bit bad, but it's like a C. And anything below C is kind of a A failing grade, so 78 is not the best. Penalties conceded a 6-8. The game's lacked a bit of flow, I thought, in the first half. It was a wee bit stop-start, but I don't know. You guys have to let me know how you thought the first half went. Second half, as we're just talking about Will Jordan, thinking, where's that guy been in the first half? He's had like one run for 2 meters. He's not had any tackles to make. He's done bugger all in the first half. He gets a try pretty much as soon as the second half gets underway. 2 passes from the base of a ruck, and Mwanga gets it to Jordan, who's just in a big old gap. Remember, the All Blacks got the extra man up with the yellow card. 36-6. A much-needed try for Fiji on 44. Ravai powers over after a maul of their own, and he showed some real power of his own, kind of like Savia for his try. 36-13. My note there was just much needed because the All Blacks were absolutely looking to run away with it, but they still kind of ran away with it. There was a big flurry of points. There's a try to Rico Ioane on the right wing because Jordan goes off pretty much immediately after scoring that try, which is unfortunate. Hopefully he's all right. But a couple of passes out wide, and Rico finds the space. So 43-13. Tokiaho, he gets a try on 59 minutes. He's only just come on, and I think it's like one of his first touches of the ball back of that maul. And he seems pretty chuffed to get a try on his debut. Congratulations to him. 48-13. Vola goes close with an intercept. Not his finest hour. Didn't quite have the gas to get over. D-Mac did well to kind of covering tackle on him. Tokiaho gets almost gets a double actually. He beats some defenders in the build-up to a Shannon Frizzell try. 55-13. And Tokiaho gets one at the death down the blind side to make it 60 points to 13. So there's like a little bit of a dry spell between some of the tries, but 41 at the end of the first half, then 42, then 49, and then just when you think it's starting to ease off, 59, 68. So the All Blacks are just kind of ticking the scoreboard along. And just they answered all the questions. Really, the breakdown effort was better from the All Blacks, I thought. Run meters finished 344 to 196. Turnovers conceded 15-14. Neither side will be all that happy. The game did lack a bit of flow at sometimes, as I mentioned. The penalties conceded was 11-14. Fiji conceding a few more. The All Blacks generate 9 clean breaks to 2. They have 27 defenders beaten to 10. The All Blacks lineout does go astray a few times, like I mentioned, but they managed to kind of iron that out throughout the game. They finished 16 from 18. The 2 that they missed would have been at the start of the game. Fiji were 14 from 19 with their lineout, so again, a few struggles there. The All Blacks are just deadly from any kind of set piece, man. It's maul, it's scrum, it's lineout. If you give them a chance in U22, there's a very good chance they're going to make you pay for it, as long as they can win their own lineout ball, which they did struggle with a little bit, but again, as I said, they kind of managed to sort it out throughout the course of the game. So for the All Blacks point of view, it's a little bit worrying because you could say teams a bit stronger than Fiji may not let you come back into the game if you give them that early chance. And from a Fijian point of view, you would say they came out of the block so fast, it's a bit disappointing they couldn't really kind of convert much more than going to a 3-0 lead and then getting it up to 6 points to 7. They weren't really able to put the All Blacks, like if you get a try or a try and a penalty, put the All Blacks 10 points behind, just it makes that kind of mental question mark about the way the game's going. So the All Blacks never really had that. They did take that penalty, on the 28th minute, just showing they were under a bit of pressure to make it 10-6. But that's about as pressurised as it got. The Fijian wings were quiet. Neither Fijian winger got much ball. Nandolo had 10 run meters. So again, pretty quiet effort from him. I think together they racked up 21 run meters, which is not what you would expect. Havili had 51, 3 defenders beaten. I mentioned Tokiaho. He looked really dynamic. We all know about his ball carrying when he came on. He looked the business. So, good to see the Fijian boys kind of congratulating Severis at the end. So, I think Fozzie's done a pretty good job here, honestly. 60 points to 13 over a strong Fijian team with a lot of big-name players in it. Obviously, they're missing a few. The All Blacks are missing a few as well. But a well-coached Fijian team who's had a bit of an extra prep time now. Last week, they were fresh out of the hotels. This week, with a bit more prep, and the All Blacks still get it done pretty comfortably. So, I mean, obviously there's improvements, but for the All Blacks, I think that's a pass mark, man, big time. We need to maybe ease off Fozzie a wee bit. Is it the finished article, complete product? No. Were they a bit vulnerable at the start? Yes. Was the set piece, especially the line-out struggling early? Yes. But did they manage to convert later on? Again, yes. So I think they should still be taking that and promising performances from some of the younger guys. For Fiji, again, promising signs, but unable to kind of complete the effort that they showed they have the potential. They're probably missing a few. They could use a real world-class 9-10 combo. I was kind of hoping Lamani would make more of an impact than he did. Vola, whilst he's like kind of, he's all right. I think they could certainly use, as I said, use a world-class 10. I think that would do them wonders. But anyway, we'll see. I want more games between these teams. Fiji's only going to get better by playing the All Blacks more and more. The captain Nakarawa said at the end of the game, there's no losses, just learning. So good attitude to have. Anyway, we're about to watch the Aussies and the Argentinians go at it. So I will sign off here, guys, and tune in for that series decider. The All Blacks won this one. They lifted a trophy at the end. The celebrations were pretty muted, to be honest. The Fijian guys were all taking photos with them at the end, so it seems to be like a pretty good thing. They're singing hymns and stuff. Good bit of feel-good vibes after this game, but maybe, it's a pretty convincing scoreline. Anyway, you guys have any thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.